What's going on, guys? We are back with another episode of the Hammer and Chisel Performance Podcast. I'm your host, John Heck. As always, I just want to open up, give a quick shout out to the sponsors over at Troponin Supplements. As always, keeping me decked out in the best bodybuilding gear on the market, even though this is a strongman series. I got to represent my boys over in the bodybuilding side of things. So guys, check out the Troponin Supplements website. Some of the best supplements and apparel on the market. You can use my last name in all caps, capital H-E-C-K, for a discount. Go check them out, guys. But anyway, without further ado, so we're doing the Strongman series right now. So we're coming off a big competition, North Americans up in Canada. And then, of course, we have one of the big four competitions in all of Strongman approaching here. By the time you guys are hearing this, it might just be a few days away. That, of course, is the Strongest Man on Earth competition hosted by Brian Shaw out in Denver, Colorado, in the middle of August. And I've got another one of the big dog competitors in that competition, and I also have the honor of doing nutrition coaching for this guy, and that is the Behemoth, Bryce Johnson. Welcome to the podcast, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, you're a listener of the podcast, aren't you?
I am. Yep. No, I usually I'll listen to it here on my way in and out of work, so it's a nice little thing to listen to on my way.
Hell yeah, man. Well, I'm fired up to get you on here, and of course, man, coming off of a huge win. You guys are listening to the first place finish from North Americans, and that was a stacked lineup at a big competition up in Canada. Man, how are you feeling coming off that win?
I'm feeling great. It was very exciting to be up there. The shows up there are unreal. I was there last year as well. I got fourth place last year, but just the crowd there is unbelievable in the atmosphere. You know, they get so into strongman up there that it's crazy to go up there and compete in front of them. But
it's pretty cool, you know, in certain countries where they just are so into strength sports, they're so into strongman. You know, in like America, you got NFL football and NBA and all that, but like in Canada and in Eastern Europe and in other countries, man, the strongman strength sports are some of the prime time. So to be able to go out and international show, take first place against a lot of some strong dudes, man. Did you going into that show, did you have a feeling that the win was going to be yours, or how'd you feel going into it?
I really wanted to get podium this year. I felt like looking at the events and kind of looking at how our prep was going, that podium was a realistic goal. Obviously, I wanted to get first. I didn't want to just land on the podium, but going in, podium was definitely a goal. So to be able to get first on that podium was pretty cool.
Yeah, run me through just kind of the show itself. How did it go kind of through the events? And then, you know, was there a point where you felt like, oh, you got this in the bag, or was it kind of down to the wire? How did the whole show play out?
Yeah, so I mean, the show as a whole went fairly smooth. We started out with max log. I think I tied for first on that with the 420 log. Moved over to Conan's wheel after that. I kind of knew that one was going to be more of a damage control event for me. I think that's my second time going on the actual Conan's wheel. Usually I'll train Zercher carries with yokes for that. So I landed okay on that one. I don't remember what the placing was. And we did the arm over arm truck pull. That one went very well. I got first. I beat Wes by just a little bit. I was able to get it started just a hair faster than him. Still lucked out a little bit on that one. And then end of day one was stones. I had a bit of a packy malfunction, and I probably shouldn't have even put it on. So it was a little slick, so it didn't do quite as well as I wanted to. But I think I ended day one in fourth place. Yep. Day two, we started off with, I'm trying to remember now. It would have been the yoke. So we did a super yoke right around 1,000 pounds. I ended up in fourth place on that one with 16 seconds. We had like Nick and Kim were flying on that. They cruised right through that. Then the next event was biking press. Ended up getting 11 reps on that. So I felt pretty good on that. That's kind of where it started to feel like, well, I think I'm going to make podium looking at the rest of the events. And then we had the Hercules hold. which was a really cool setup. I've only done Hercules hold twice now, just because it's a pretty big setup for promoters. Usually the setup, so not a lot of people have them. But we had those side by side with the handles on them, so I was able to tough it out and get second on that one. And that was really like the big points. I had a decent lead going into the final event then, and then just finished off strong with the medley. And that one went really well.
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough show. It's a 2-day event. You got several events. It's heavy. And I mean, just to kind of, you know, dig yourself out of that day one hole to go from you're coming in day 2 in 4th place. I mean, what your mindset going into day 2, were you disappointed with day 1? Or were you like, oh no, these day 2 events are in my wheelhouse. I can still climb up and have a shot at 1st place.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely wasn't too happy about how the stones ended for day 1. So I definitely knew we needed to come in and get some good points on day 2. But I think being there the previous year, where I wasn't sitting in a good spot either, coming into day 2 on there, I made a couple big jumps. Last year, it makes you a little less nervous because you realize how many points are still left on the board going into that second day. So I kind of knew that we could make up the points. We just had to make sure we were being consistent and we didn't make any mistakes on that day 2.
Yeah, for sure. No, I mean, it's pressure, man. You go into that day 2, you can't, there's no wiggle room to slip up. You kind of got to go and have the best day you can possibly have. Says a lot about you as a competitor, man, just to go in there with that confidence, that mindset, dig yourself out of that hole, overcome that adversity. So couldn't be more proud of you, man. And, I was pretty fired up to get all 3 of my guys up on that podium. It couldn't have played out better for me. Did you, was there a little celebration afterwards?
Yeah. I mean, we all hung out. We were just all excited. All the guys on the podium there. I mean, the 3 of us are all in a group chat already, even before that, and we're all good friends. So to have all 3 of us on the podium was just great. It was awesome.
How are the flights there and back, man? I mean, listen, guys our size, especially, I mean, we're similar height, but I mean, just for the audience, I mean, Bryce is 6'6", pushing 400 pounds, just an absolute behemoth of a human. I mean, what are airplanes like for you? I know they suck for me.
Horrible. Yeah. No, luckily I fly and my wife comes along to all my things. But I mean, she's also 6'3", so we together don't fit well in the seats, but at least I know the person who's sitting next to me. So when I have to like lean in and sweat on them the entire trip, it's not quite as weird as just a random person sitting there.
Yeah. Anytime I'm walking down the aisle, boarding the plane, I just see people look at me and then they drop their eyes. Everyone's just praying, please don't let him sit next to me.
Yeah.
Get to my seat. And I just I'm so ashamed. I have to tell the person, yep, this is my seat. I'm sitting next to you.
Yeah. I mean, the rows at this point are mandatory. They're not really an option.
100%. But all jokes aside, it's kind of something people don't think about. Like if you're having to fly, a long flight internationally, like you're talking 8+ hour flight, that takes a legitimate toll on your body when you're big and you're traveling to do freaking max deadlifts and just being crushed into that little seat. Just like the water retention, you get your ankles and just how stiff you are, like it could actually be a legitimate factor when you're a big pro strongman,
Oh yeah. Yep. Yeah. Usually I'll wear compression socks just to kind of get on top of that a little bit. Luckily the flights in and out, I mean, they're not terrible going up to Canada because I fly out of Chicago, so it's like a 2.5 hour flight. We didn't get a nonstop this time on the way in, which is sometimes it's like, oh well, I wish we could have just gone on like an extra half hour and gotten there. But then it's nice to get up, walk around, get some food, for sure, hang out a little bit.
Well, Bryce, if you don't mind, would you just kind of give the audience a little bit of background on yourself? Where you from? How'd you get into strongman? Just a little quick bio.
Yeah. So I'm from Wisconsin. I still live there now. Played sports my whole life. I played football and basketball in high school. Then I played football in college. I went to D2 school up in Minnesota, St. Cloud State, who doesn't actually have a football program anymore. They shut that down soon after I left. but played up there for the 4.5 years. Ended up doing some pro day training and landed with the Cowboys for about 4 months. So I was down there for a little bit. After I got out of that, I went and moved to Indiana. My wife was going to school for a doctorate. And I was like, well, I'll just go wherever she's going. And so I was down there and I was working at a paper mill. And my boss at the time, he's now one of my really good friends, started talking to me about strongman. He's like, oh, well, you should try to get into this. You know, there's these other big dudes running around lifting heavy weights. So I checked it out and we actually both signed up for our first strongman competition down there. That was about 6 years ago. It was just, I mean, it was great. It was so much fun. After football, I was really looking for something to do. I can't really just sit around. I need something like competitive to do. So this was the fantastic. I think it feels like I've found kind of my calling of what I'm supposed to be doing. Like this is great.
Yeah, man, no kidding. Were you always kind of a weight room strong guy? Did you always have the gift of strength, or was that something that you kind of developed a little bit later in life?
No, I would say I probably developed it more later. We didn't have a great strength and strength training program really through college. I really started to enjoy strength training during my pro day training. We had one of the coaches out there was a really good strength coach, and it was just fun lifting with the guys out there. I've always had strong legs, but the upper body's taken quite a long time to catch up. It feels like we're finally getting there, but yeah, there's a lot of work to get to this point.
And I think that's, when you're a tall guy, tall guys tend to be a little bit later in development, I think, with these strength, because you got such a big frame to fill out. Like for me, it wasn't until a little bit later in my life that I kind of like grew into my body. I like figured everything out. I was the tall, lanky, uncoordinated, awkward kid. And then finally, okay, I stopped growing tall. I started filling out. But it took me a few years to like catch up to people in terms of athletic ability and then strength. So I was, a little bit of a later bloomer. So not surprising that it's similar with you. What did you play? What was your body weight at when you were playing ball?
So I came into college at 225. I 35. Damn, at your height. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I'm really grown. So that's why I ended up at DQ. So yeah. But yes, I went to the all you can eat buffet area for school all the time. And I think I started playing guard it'd be whatever the second year of equivalent to like the red shirt year. At 270, right around there. And then I eventually got up to right around 300. I think senior year, I was right under 330. Kind of topped out right around that weight.
Got it. And so you've been in the sport for 6 years. I mean, that's really not that long of a time at all. When did you once you got started with strongman, at what point did you kind of realize, okay, I've got a future in strongman?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, we're like a good year into it. I had done unsanctioned one, and then I had signed up for an open competition probably like 3 or 4 months after that. I got second place, and I was like, well, I feel like I can do a lot better. I haven't been doing this very long. I was like, well, I need something else to kind of dive into. And then just like watching some of the like top level strongman, I was like, well, I want to do that someday. Like this is going to be my new goal. So I'd say probably like a year and a half into it where I was like, all right, I really, really want to get to that top level now.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, man, you're right there now. I mean, coming off of that big win, I think there's a lot more eyes on you now. And now you got your invite to Strongest Man on Earth. So things are starting to fall into place a little bit for you. And rightfully so, man. I mean, you're a hell of an athlete, hell of a competitor. So I'm really excited for what's coming up. For you're what, 32 years old?
30. Just turned 30 this year.
30 years old. Okay. Yes, man. You guys still got several years ahead of you. Yeah. Strongman, like strength sports, they can be an old man's game. Like when it comes to football and speed-based sports, you kind of lose that in your late 20s. But when it comes to strength, there's just something about that, like dad strength, that muscle maturity. Like you see guys like, Stan Efferding type of guys who are hitting all-time world records like in their 40s. And I mean, you see like the Mark Felixes in their 50s at World's Strongest Man. So like when it comes to the strength game, if you can stay healthy, like you can compete into your 40s and probably not hit your prime until you're in your late 30s.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
But the key is staying healthy. And I think something that is tough on guys like you when it comes to like the durability is just like pressure to compete frequently. Like you got North Americans, few weeks later, strongest man on earth. And then I know not long after that, you're going to be doing what, Giants Live? Yeah. So, I mean, do you feel a pressure to compete frequently? Is that been tough on your body?
I at this point, it's very much you should say yes to every invite you're getting. Eventually, I'd like to get to the point where it's like, oh, I can be a little more picky and just to make sure I can last quite a while. But like shows like North America's, like I'm always going to do those. I just love that so much. But I think a lot of it is to like having people program for you and like coach you and like know what they're doing, so they know you don't get too run down between shows. Knowing how to peak you for a show and stuff like that really helps.
Right. And you're working with JF Caron, correct?
Yep.
As your coach. How long have you been with JF?
Since February, I want to say. We started working together this year.
Got it. How'd you guys get connected?
I just have known him from the sport, really. I had another coach before when I was up in Minnesota, and I actually worked with him all the way up until the point that I started working up with JF. But I was friends with like Wes before I had seen what he was doing. I was like, well, I kind of want to give that a try. And the nice thing is now we all kind of like Wes, Tristan, and I all kind of have the same programming. So it's like, well, let's see who hosted their deadlift first this week, and then we'll try to see if we can ship each other and stuff like that. So we're all kind of lifting by ourselves, but it kind of feels like you're still lifting as a group and trying to get after each other and stuff like that.
Right. And I know that JF, like he's kind of got an old school, like he'll beat the hell out of you guys. Some of the training he has you guys doing.
Yeah, I think a couple weeks into the first time I signed up with them, we were doing like sets of 10 on squat, and I'm like, I've never done this before. My body really hurts. And now it feels great when I do it, but it was a bit of an adjustment.
For sure. And, but hey, I mean, developing that grit, that toughness, man, it's a hard sport. You got to be blue collar. You got to be tough. It's not a pretty boy sport,
Yep.
Guys, thank you for tuning in and supporting the podcast. I just wanted to take a minute to give a shout out over to my guys at Troponin Supplements. So they're the sponsor of the podcast, and in my opinion, they carry the best supplements on the market, and it's not even close. And they're the one company that I've wanted to align myself with. As a nutrition coach working with NFL football players, other professional athletes, strongman competitors, bodybuilders, powerlifters, fitness enthusiasts, endurance athletes, I have to be very particular about any supplement company I endorse. And with Troponin Supplements, frankly, it was a no-brainer. These are the products I've been using myself for the last few years before I ever became involved with the company. I know the owner personally, Justin Harris. He is one of the brilliant minds in the bodybuilding industry, and we've talked, and all he has wanted to do is just bring some of the elite top-of-the-line products to the market, and that's what he's done. So these are the products I recommend and endorse to all my athletes, all my clients. I use myself, and I want to pass this along to you guys as well. So I'm going to highlight a couple products here. First and foremost, we've got the ATP. This is a high dose of caffeine paired with a very powerful nootropic. I take this before work. I take this before I podcast. This is going to give you a great boost in mood, in focus, memory enhancement. You're just going to feel like you took the Limitless pill when you use ATP. It's an effervescent tablet. You drop it in your water, it dissolves, tastes great. The next product, Field Rations. This is the premier intra-workout supplement on the market right now. It's a one-stop shop for all your intra-workout needs. It's based in highly branched cyclic dextrin, contains essential amino acids, electrolytes, tastes amazing. I use this within every training session. Then we've got the Suppressor Max. This is awesome for controlling your blood sugar. It's got a high dose of berberine, but then has complementary ingredients that are going to keep the berberine bioavailable and stay in your system longer. This is the best blood sugar product on the market. If you're bulking, if you're eating a ton of food, if you're using a cheat meal, this is a great product for you. And then finally, I love this one. I've always had sleep issues. Hit the Rack. This is one of the best sleep products I've ever tried. I use it about 30 minutes before bed most nights, and this has been the one supplement that has actually helped me fall asleep and stay asleep. And then of course, we got the Troponin T logo bodybuilding jersey and the hat. We've got great apparel on the site. So guys, check out Troponin supplements. You can find the link in the show notes, in the bio, or you can simply just Google Troponin supplements. Use code HECK, capital HECK, at checkout for a discount. Check them out, guys. These are some of the best products on the market. And one thing I want to talk about that I think gets, with guys like you're kind of in this tough situation because, like you said, you're kind of in a position where you can't really say no to shows, so you have to compete frequently. You're not in the Mitchell Hooper position right now where, or one of the big name, flashy name guys who's got the luxury of saying no. But then the other thing is, man, you're working a job. Like, there's certain guys who strongman is all they do, right? And they get to just live totally like a professional athlete, and they just get to wake up, train, eat, massage therapist, and it's an advantage when you get there. But you're over there working a real job. I mean, you just got off work and now you're jumping on the podcast. You still got to train this evening. Is it tough managing the job and the rigors of training at a high level for strongman?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's tough. It gets kind of stressful at some points, like our prep for world. I was definitely pretty stressed out. Going from, I'm working, and then all of a sudden I got put the switch to going into training and stuff like that. But I am pretty lucky with my job setup, is that's not really a physical job. Like I gotta go out and do inspections and stuff like that. But like as far as like energy spending during the day, it's not too much. And it's pretty flexible with like making sure I get all my meals in during the day, and kind of trying to plan that stuff out. And they work well with me for when I have to take off for these. I mean, they find it really cool, which is awesome. And it's always fun to go back. Like this week, going back to this after winning that, they're all excited. So it's good. It's a very good setup for what I do.
Yeah, no, well, nothing but respect for it, man. I mean, it's I'm glad that your job is, accommodating of it. They're into it, they support it and all that. But I mean, still, it's just, you don't have that luxury of getting to just put everything into strongman. And, who knows, maybe you do get to a point down the road where you do. But you look at guys like Eddie Hall, like who was working in an auto shop and a mechanic, and then, having to manage strongman at the same time. And then finally he makes it big, and then he gets to go all in on the strongman. And then suddenly, like, life becomes a little bit easier. But man, it's interesting. I've interviewed a handful of guys, in the competition, and if some of them are kind of living like the just strongman life, and a bunch of you guys are managing a job too. So I think it's an overlooked factor that people need to be aware of when they're looking at the lineup of guys. It's like, that dude is just living strongman 24/7. That dude is putting in a 40-hour work week on top of of eating and training and recovering and all of that. And there's a lot that goes into it. But as far as your training goes, do you have a little crew? Do you have a training partner? Do you have a little team that you train with?
Yeah. So most of the time when I lift during the week, it'll just be me, not just out of my home gym here. But on Saturdays, we have a Strongman Saturday crew that we get together. It'll be it's like half hour from my house, but it's over at one of the guys' house. He's got a whole bunch of equipment. And that's where we can get together, and kind of everyone does their event training for that week. So it's nice. So everyone gets to help each other with weights and stuff like that. And like Dan, who was up at North America's Strongest Man, the other big guy, will come up and train too. So I have another heavyweight guy to train with.
Right. And what are some of your best events? What do you feel like are some of your weaknesses? And maybe what are some of the best numbers you've hit, whether in training or the show? I mean, I know you put up some huge stone loads here in training. I know you've hit some big logs, some big deadlifts. What are your kind of best events, worst events, and give me some numbers?
Yeah. I still think my best event is at the Stone, contrary to what happened this last weekend. Yeah, I loaded the 520 stone probably like a month ago or so. It felt really good. It definitely, I know we got all psyched up to do it, and there's only like 3 of us there that day, and I really didn't think it was going to move that well. So, and then all of a sudden it's just like, oh, it's not slowing down. That's great.
Yeah, no, you tossed that when as soon as I saw that video, I was like, oh my. I mean, you look like you got a 600 stone in you potentially.
That's what I want. I want to go for it. It all kind of depends on how the body feels, game time decision. But I think with like that atmosphere and having the people around you for that, I mean, that's the time to go for it if you're going to do it.
Hell yeah, man. All right, so Stones, great event for you. What are some of your other good ones?
Yeah, usually grip events are pretty good, like the grip movement type of ones. Um, those have been pretty well. My deadlift's been getting better. I think I have a pretty decent like without a suit deadlift. Um, we'll see how trap bar goes. That one's been a little bit stickier than I wanted it to be here late. Um, but just with the setup, it's so far down for me. We'll see how that ends up going. Um, but yeah, I'd say stones are the big ones, and then grips right pretty close behind it.
And what about kind of some of your weaknesses you think as a competitor?
Yeah, usually it's been like the sandbag medley type of events, like where you gotta pick up the sandbag and run with it. Um, I have for some reason every time I do it, I'll fumble the last one when I go for the pick. I don't know if I just get too excited or I'm just trying to move too fast. So that's one thing we've definitely worked on. We definitely worked on it quite a bit before going into Worlds, and like I'll wear gloves and stuff now, and that kind of helps me stick a little better to them. But that's definitely the big one that I struggle with.
Right. And one event in Strongest Man on Earth I'm really curious to see, and I think it's going to be a bit of a wild card event, is the throwing. It's a heavy keg throw. I mean, I hear the first keg is 60 pounds. The first keg is 60 pounds over 15 feet, which I mean, in most shows, that's like the last weight. Um, and throws, it's like you might be a really good thrower, but if you go in there and you're just off a little bit with your technique, you mistime it slightly. I mean, the best thrower ever can go in there and just zero it or just and totally screw up the whole competition. How are you feeling for the keg over bar?
Honestly, that's going to be quite the toss up. Trying to see what we hit on that. I've hit it out at the end. Yeah, right. I've hit a 70. We're working on before quite a bit. We luckily the guy we go do Strongman Saturdays at, he actually went and cut a keg in half and welded it together. So we have basically a pony keg now to practice with. So Wes has been giving me some pointers of different tips and tricks to try with it. So I'm hoping to get over 70, but we'll see what ends up happening day out.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to see it. I love throwing. It's such a fun event to train, but sometimes they're like the most frustrating sessions ever. Like sometimes you just go in there, it's just like off. You keep missing, and it's in your head, and then you keep trying to repeat it, and then you're tired, and then it just like ruins the whole session.
Yep.
But I also like sometimes you come in and it's just clicking, and it's just so much fun. Like I just want to stay out there and keep throwing. It's like one of the few events that's not really hard on your body. Like so much of strongman just freaking hurts and destroys you. It's nice to have one that you can go out there, warm up, and just go throw and not have to, ice your lower back afterwards.
Yep.
Well, coming off this win, man, has this kind of given you a bigger surge of confidence going into Strongest Man on Earth, or maybe has it even put maybe more pressure on you? How has the North Americans win sort of influence you mentally now going into Strongest Man on Earth a few weeks later?
Yeah, I think it's definitely been a pretty good confidence boost going into that. North America's was one of the heaviest shows out there. So being able to win that show against all the guys that were there kind of gives me a good boost going in of like, I can compete with guys at this level. I can do very well at this level. I would just kind of got to put the whole package together and do that at one of the big fours. And, I've been super excited for SMOE. I get the Shaw Classic Open the first 2 years I had it. And we used to get to do an event out in front of the crowd. So that was, you get like your first little taste of like, oh, this is what it's like to be out there and like with the big pros and everything. So I'm super excited to finally get an opportunity to like compete at that level in that arena,
Yeah, no, for sure, man. And like I said, I think there's going to be more eyes on you now. You're coming off of North Americans, and suddenly now everyone knows who Bryce Johnson is, right? And I think that And plus, I mean, you just stand out, man. Just at your size, like you can't miss you. So, no, I'm really excited to see you out there at SMOE, and then I've got a few other guys who I'm doing nutrition for who are going to be there. And the beauty of being a nutrition coach is I feel no conflict of interest. Like I'm not coaching you guys to beat each other at events. Like I'm just making sure you guys are at your most fueled and hydrated and carved up and ready to go. So like I'm just excited to be out there with you guys and helping you out and seeing you guys dominate. Do you feel like you got any like rivals in the sport? Anyone you're kind of like you specifically, I want to beat that guy? I know Wes has a little bit of a target on you after you edged him out and I just had him on the show a couple days ago. I asked him, who do you want to beat? He was like, I want to beat Bryce because he made me take second at North Americans.
Yeah, no, I mean, I wouldn't really say I have anyone in particular. I mean, I love competing with Wes, so I'm always trying to just kind of chip him one when we're going. So I don't really have anyone in particular that like at the big rivalry with. I mean, it probably would be, I guess, West, because we competed together like 3 or 4 times now. It's just been fun going back and forth with him. So hopefully we get to keep doing this for quite a long time.
Yeah, man, for sure. What's kind of your demeanor and mindset on competition day? Are you kind of the quiet, focused, don't talk to me guy? Or are you kind of the loose, like having fun with the boys type? What do you like on game day?
I'll usually be pretty simmered out. Like I won't talk to a ton of people. I don't really talk to a ton of people as it is. But I'll probably like I go and I'll walk around on the floor and like with my headphones in and just take a look at everything and test some stuff out. But I really don't, I try my best not to get too psyched up until it's time to go. That's when I try to really like get everything turned on and like, all right, now it's time to go to work.
Right. And, do you feel like, are you kind of coming in with a chip on your shoulder? Like I got something to prove? Or are you coming in like, man, like I'm excited to be here. Whatever happens, happens. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'd say, I mean, I'm just excited to be there, but it's definitely, I want to prove that I belong at that level. I feel like I can compete with those guys and I want to show people why I got that invitation to be there. It just plays very well at this show.
Absolutely, man. Well, listen, I'm not going to keep you much longer. I know you got to go out and train. And have you gotten your pre-workout meal in yet, by the way?
I will be doing that right after this. I didn't want to beforehand because you it would time out weird. So I was like, I'll right after this and I'll plan it quick.
Yeah, so I'll let you go and get your pre-workout meal in and go get your training in, man. But in the meantime, Bryce, where can people find you at?
Yeah, on Instagram, I'm pretty sure my username is BryceJ71. I don't give it out very much, so I don't know quite what it is, but you'll find me on there somewhere.
Just search Bryce Johnson, guys. You will not miss him. And guys, yeah, for sure. Guys, keep an eye out for Bryce. I mean, he's coming off of a huge win. He's going to be competing in, I mean, there's 4 huge strongman competitions in the world. There's World's Strongest Man, there's the Arnold, there's the Rogue Invitational, and there's Strongest Man on Earth. And he's going to be making his debut on the big stage, Strongest Man on Earth in Denver, going against the best in the world, proving that he can hang with those guys, which I know you can, man. So, Bryce, it's been awesome working with you, and I'm fired up I was able to get you on the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Yes, sir. Well, go get your carbs, go train hard, and you and I will talk soon in your next nutrition check-in.
Perfect. Sounds good.
All right, brother. We'll catch you soon. And guys, we'll see you on the next episode of the Hammer and Chisel Performance Podcast. Catch you guys later.